Good morning to all of you. So today we are here with for the class of object-oriented database system. Okay. So I am taking two subjects for your eighth semester. One is web technology, and second one is object-oriented database system. This object-oriented database system is also taken by Biash ma'am. Means me and Biash ma'am will both are going to take this subject. Some modules will be discussed by Biash ma'am, and some modules will be discussed by me. Okay, so we have a discussion that who was going to take what part, and based on that, we are going to take classes. So two classes of object-oriented database system in a week will be from me, and two will be from Diyash ma'am. So today we are going to start the object-oriented database system class. Just wait a minute, let me share my screen. One important thing is that from today onwards, I will not share any QR code in the group. Those who are attending the classes need to write their name in the chat box. I will update the attendance from my side. No QR code will be sent to the group from today for my classes. Okay, I am talking about my classes. All of you need to write down the names in the chat box for attendance purpose. Okay. So if the students who is attending the classes need to write down their names in the chat box, only those students will get the attendance in the LMS. Okay. So we all have studied already the database management system or DBMS in your previous semesters. So the basic concept of DBMS is already have some basic concepts have some basic concepts of DBMS. So if I'm talking about this DBMS, so what is a DBMS? We can say that what is a DBMS? DBMS is just a means we can say a software or something like that for storing and retrieving the user's data while considering some appropriate security measures. So it is just a simple DBMS. The simple definition of DBMS, we can say that it is just a basic type of software by which we can store some data and also retrieve some data as per the query. And while we need to check and we need to take care of the appropriate security measures. So uh, the concept of DBMS comes from a very back, that is that previously we have uh, when the computer era is not actually begin, some means it is going to start. So previously what happened that we all know that some file information system or file storing system is there. So we need to keep many files to save our data, to store our data. And in case if we need to find out some data of some previous years back, then it is a very hectic task actually to find out those particular files and to retrieve those data. So file information system was the first actually the things, or we can say the basic things of DBMS, by which the concept of DBMS has actually evolved. You can say evaluated. So the file information system, or to maintain that particular thing, it is a very hectic task. So then the thing comes, some scientists have come up with the idea of this DBMS, and they create a software, they create a platform where the data can be stored and saved automatically with the help of some computers, with the help of some keywords, some queries, by which the data can be stored and also the data can be and also the data can be actually retrieved by using some queries by, and that's why some query language has been also developed, that is some basic is we can say SQL, structured query language. So now the evolution of DBMS have come up so far that earlier the DBMS have some the basic things. So now the evolution have done, and then relational database management system is there. Then some object-oriented database management system is there, and now the latest thing is that object relational database management system. Object relational database management system. So this is the part of this DBMS, means every day some new things is actually getting evaluated, and that's why previously we have just the basic thing of DBMS, then the relational DBMS comes up, and then the object-oriented database management system comes up, and then the object relational database management system comes up into the scenario. So what is this object relational database management system, or what is the object relational database management system? As we can see that it is written that it is a database management system that is similar to actually the relational database, except that it has an object oriented database model. So it is the combination of both the object oriented database system and also the relational database management system. So it is the actually the both combining the both of this relational database and object oriented database, this ORDBMS have come up. So it is just a database management system that is similar to a relational database, except that it has an object oriented database model. So in relational database management system, the object oriented database model has put in, and that's why it is called the ORDBMS, object relational database management system. So this particular object ORDBMS actually supports the objects, classes, inheritance. Means what are the features? Everything the features of an object oriented programming like Java and C++, those have these features actually. Some objects, class, inheritance, these features have been incorporated with the ORDBMS. So this object oriented object relational database management system supports these objects, classes, and inheritance types of features, and that in this in their database schemas and also in the query language. Okay, so this is the hybrid model actually, we can say, where the object oriented model and object relational model, those two have been incorporated, and the strengths and the weakness of those particular have been checked, and then after this ORDBMS have comes up into the scenario. Okay, so we can see that what is an ORDBMS. As I said earlier, that it is the object oriented database management system and the relational database management system, considering the both, then this ORDBMS have comes up into the scenario. So why is this talking about? So ORDBMS, actually this object relational database management system, what actually it helps us, that it helps us uh, between the some scenario between some relational database and object oriented database. So in ORDBMS, what happened is data is manipulated with the help of the query language, as the query language is the thing by which we can use this data retrieving and also data storing. So this system actually, there are some gap of conceptual data modeling. So this ORDBMS actually helping us to come up with both of these things, so that more enhancing or most data stored and retrieving all of the data. Any type of data can be stored there, and any type of data can be retrieved, so that the user, it makes much more user friendly. So why this ORDBMS? So why are this ORDBMS comes up into the scenario? So there are some obstacles facing in traditional database system. So what are the obstacles there is in traditional database system? Such as the limited type system supported, the limited type system supported there. Then the difficulty in accessing database data from the programs written in programming languages such as C++ or Java. So we only have some things that write in the query languages. So anything of some accessing data from programs. So there are some programs written in Java or C++. So if we need to access some database data from those programs, so it is very difficult to access those particular type of data. Then the differentiation between the types systems of the database and the type system of the programming language make data storage and retrieval more complicated, and those things need to be minimized. So there are some limitations of previously traditional database system. That's one. First one is the limited type subsystem supported. Second was difficult of accessing the database program like Java or C++. And to access the database from those particular programs, it is very much difficult. Third one is differentiation between the type system of the database and the type system of programming language to make the data storage and retrieval more complicated and need to be minimized. So that's what the scenario of ORDBMS come to gap, to minimize those gaps, to minimize the gap of this accessing the programming from a Java or C++ language. This thing have this ORDBMS has actually get developed. So this is just a basic overview of this ORDBMS, where that all of the things are put in a scenario and all the things are work means in a similar way. So you can see there are two user interfaces given, and data processing is part is there. So from the user interface, some message is going for the data processing part, or then from the data processing, then some SQL queries is reaching to the ORDBMS or the uh, management system, we can say, where the queries is actually getting processed, and then some database actually retrieve those data, and then it is again sending the query answer of that particular query to the user. So just a basic simple overview of database management system, simple things actually. So this data, just a minute, I'm muting me for some particular reason, just a minute. Okay. The database design or the thing is there. So how this database design and the things actually going on. So normalization of this database actually. So there is we all know that while studying the DBMS, there are many type of normalization such as 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, 4NF, BCNF. Many type of normalization forms are there. So this database normalization is a technique of organizing the data in the database. So we all know that what is actually the normalization, what is database normalization. In similar, in a general, we can say that database normalization is a technique or a process of organizing the data in the database. So it is used for, we can say that it is used for the redundancy or to minimize the redundancy from a relation or a set of relations. So to organize the data in a particular database, also the redundancy need to be minimized. So this particular normalization helps us to organize the data in the database as well as the minimizing the redundancy from the relation or the set of relations. So we all know that there are many type of normalization forms we have studied in previous our database management system, that is 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, BCNF, all of those things. So we can see this is a simple table, actually database table. We can say there is, it is not in any type of normalization form, just a simple table is there having some means keywords of some title, author, array, publisher, keyword set, and having some names are there. So just a simple table is actually showing here. So now, as I said, there are many normalization form like 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BCNF. So what is the particular things, how what are, I will just recap once again that what is the for 1NF. So 1NF, just we can say that a relation we can say is in 1NF if it is contains and atomic values. So in 1NF, it requires that all attributes have some atomic domains. So in case of 2NF, so we can say that a relation will be in the 2NF if it is in 1NF and all the non-key attributes are fully functional dependent on the primary key. So for 2NF, the thing, first thing is that the things need to be in 1NF, the normalization form need to be 1NF, and then after that things comes that all the non-key attributes are fully functional dependent on the primary key. So all the non-key attributes need to be dependent or fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So next there is 3NF. So we can say that a relation is in 3NF if it is in 2NF. So first of all, it needs to be 2NF, and there should be no transition dependency exist, and there should be no type of transition dependency exist. Next come the 4NF. So for 4NF, the basic thing is that it first needs to be in 3NF, and also this 4NF is known as the BCNF also we can say, and it has no multi-value dependency. So in 4NF, there that all the things needs to be in first of all 3NF, and no multi-value dependency should be there. So we can say that this is a simple in the window you can see that there is a simple 1NF normalization from table is there. So there are some product ID price for the table product price, and second table is the table product color. So having some same product ID, there is some two more things is there, one is price and one is color. So we can identify from this that for which product ID, what is the price and what is the color. So this is just a form of 1NF, as 1NF says that it requires all attributes have some atomic values or atomic domains. Now, in the first thing, in my first slides, where this thing has been seen that is a simple non-M1S table. Now we need to process it in some particular part. Okay. So now, if we define a relational of the following examples, so several domains in this particular thing, there is not non-atomic actually. So this is a set of table. So now we need to break that thing. So how, what will be the result? We can say that we can see here that there are similar things that the title, author, positions, and for them, so for some author tables, for some keywords table is there. So if we compare it, that the title, author, array, publisher, keywords, so many things is there. So we have breakdown in many type of nomination form. So title of the book is uniquely identifies the book. So in case of here, the title of a book is uniquely identifying the books actually, and requires the queries to join multiple relations. So from the title, we are actually considering each of the attributes. So from title, we are getting different type of sets. So title is our primary key, we can say here. So title, there are some different title book. The name of the book will be different for each of the things. So and the authors are different, then the keywords are there, then the publisher name and publisher branch is there. So depending on the title, the things have been broken or things have been break. So these things have been done, or the how this the simple for nomination form can be done, we have already actually studied in our DBMS. So again, those thing is there. So how to break a simple a table into a 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, 4NF. And one of the most important thing that we need to keep in mind, that we need to actually remove our data redundancy. We need to minimize our data redundancy. So the first of all thing, for the normalization form, it is actually a way to organize the data in a database. And also one of the important thing is that we need to minimize our redundancy as much as possible. Now here we can see that some how to write some query or how to create some user defined data types or things is written here. Simple queries or language that has been already people have written at the time of the DBMS, how to create some table or this particular thing. So simple example is given here, shown here, that is the create type name as the first name, varchar is the value or how the things means, what is the attribute means. If you are writing some name, then some attribute will be some varchar. If you are writing some phone number, then the attribute will be something of the number type or the numerical value. So this is the mentioning of that particular what type of data actually you are going to put in that particular field. So we have to mention that depending on the field, what will be the values or what type of values we are going to put there. So that's why we are mentioning the varchar, numerical, or what is the thing, whatever the value data type will be there, we need to mention that. So this is the simple thing, or how to create some database type or create type name. A simple example is given, create name type name as first name varchar 20, last name varchar 20, and final. Again, some another example is shown here. So all these things are actually some user defined data or user defined type, that is called the user defined types, and it is actually written in some simple query language. Okay. And again, some create some composite attributes in a relation. So create table, person, name, address as address, date of birth as date. So name actually mentioned as the name. So we are trying to mention the name, that it will be displayed as the name, the where the n will be capital. So this is the components of composite attributes. So this thing needs to be a very simple, or the query language where that needs to be done. Again, some example of creating a table whose rows are of a user defined type. So again, we need to create a table where the rows are of some user defined type. So the example, we need to first create a user defined type, that is the create type, person type, name has been given as the name, address have been given as address, and date of birth as date, and not final. So all of these things. So just a minute. Okay, so this type of table creation of been done. So any of these composite attributes using some unnamed row types need to be created. So how the thing actually look like here? So create table person, our name, row, first name, varchar, last name. So this is a simple. We can say I'm not going to read all the things. So we can see that how the things actually written, how the code, how this creation of table, how the username, how the rows have been defined here. So all the things have been mentioned here. Okay, attribute name and address have some unnamed types, and the row of the tables have some unnamed types. So there are name first of all. So all the things are unnamed. So then we need to mention that what type of name will be there. So first of all, we just create the name. But in the second part, we are actually mentioning that what type of names are there. There will be a first name, there will be a last name. In for the address, similarly for the address part, only the address is an unnamed type. So we need to mention that what will be in the part of address. So there is street, city, code, this of these things actually is being present here. Then how to access the component attributes of a composite attribute. So next we need to actually access the things to retrieve our query. So how to access those component attributes of a composite attribute? Select name dot last name, address dot city from the person. Suppose there is a table of name called person, and from that particular thing we need to identify the last name of a person and the address and the city address. So how to retrieve that, how to retrieve that particular data? So it's a simple. Select name dot last name, address dot city from a person. So declaring some methods as a part of type definition in us of a structure type. So creating type of person type as a name address. So all of these things is the creation of the tables, rows, all the things happens is shown here. So I'm not going to just tell. People can see that. Okay. So I'm going to move to the next part. Next, there is some type inheritance, or the we can say some attributes inheritance there. So what is the inheritance? We can say what is inheritance actually. Inheritance means we can say that the things that need to be inherited. So can be defined as the process of where the one class acquires the properties of another class. We all say actually know at the time of studying the database of Java and all of the things, that what is inheritance? Inheritance means that it can be inherit the features of one class into the another class, features of the properties, or acquire all the properties of a one class into the another class. So with the help of this inheritance, the information is made the manageable in the hierarchy order. So this inheritance used when you want to store the extra information in the database or about an object. So as it is an object, so it has class, all of the things. So object oriented database management system, so it has the object class, and so inheritance also comes into the scenario. So suppose we have an object person, so creating type name of the person, name, varchar, student, address, varchar. So all of these things is present there. So we have some student, teachers, and also some persons. So we can use this inheritance to define the students and teachers type in the SQL. So there are some two types of subtype of the person. So person may be of student and person may be of teacher. So there are two subtype of person is present here. So for that two subtype of person, we are creating some two type of another query. So first one is for a student, and second one is the for the teacher. So create type student under the person. So under this person table, we are creating the thing for a student, and another person we are creating the things for the teacher. So while accommodating this, we can use this inheritance to define the student and the teacher types in the SQL. So we are inheriting the properties, and then we are creating two subtype of the student and teacher in the SQL. So creating the type of student under the name of the person, degree, department, everything, and for the teacher there is some person name, salary, and department. This thing has been presented. So two type of person is present here. So this method of the structure type are inherited by its subtype. So method of this structure types are inherited by this subtype, and just the attributes are final or not final maybe. So final, if the case is final, then its subtype may not be created from the given type, and if it is not final, the subtypes may be created. So in case it is final, then no type of subtype may be created from the given type. So if the things the total thing is actually final, then we cannot create any type of subtype from there. But in case it is not final, then we can create many subtypes from that particular thing. So the in that for that particular case, from the first one we can see that the create type of person, so it is a not final thing. So from that person, we don't actually getting what type of persons are there for which particular thing. So we can create a subtype where we can identify that the things are the students and the teacher. So two subtype of the things have been created. Then some multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance is type of declared as a subtype of multiple type. So it is actually type is declared as a subtype of multiple. So suppose we have a teaching assistant which is as a student and teacher at the same time. Therefore, it inherits all the attributes of a students and teachers. So teaching assistants, in case of a teaching assistant, it may be a student, it may be a teacher. So some teacher with some lower qualification maybe joined as in a, often in an institute as an teaching assistant, and while some teacher may recruit his students actually to make him as teaching assistant. So maybe the teacher can be the teaching assistant or a student also can be the teaching assistant at the same time. So in both of the cases, the inheritance of the properties of both of students and teacher need to be there. So this is called the multiple inheritance, where at the same time all the attributes need to be inherited from of the students and teachers. So we are creating a type where the name is some teaching assistant under the particular type of students and teachers. So where the student and the teacher, both of the properties of both will be inherited. So that is the type of multiple inheritance. Then there will be some no conflict. So the attribute name and addresses are actually inherited from a common source person. So the attribute name and the addresses are actually inherited from a common source person. So it should not be no conflict state. So in a conflict mode, so in a conflict mode, what is the thing is that the attribute department is defined separately in the case of student and teacher. So the attribute in the case of department is defined separately in the case of student and teacher. So a teaching assistant may be a student of one department and the teacher is from another department. So avoiding a conflict using as and clause as in this definition type of this teaching assistant. So we are creating as the teaching type of teaching assistant under the student as the department of student ID and the teacher as the teacher with teacher department. So we are creating some to avoid this particular type of conflict within the teacher and student, where at the same time they can be a teaching assistant. So that's why we have to avoid that particular conflict. We are creating much more subtypes against that particular thing. So creating a type of teaching assistant with under the students with the student department and with the from the teacher with the teacher department. So to avoid this particular conflict. Okay, so by the time we are going to the class will continue, all the students who is actually attending the class need to write down their names in the chat box, because I am not going to share the QR code in the group. I will mark the attendance from myself. Okay, so all of you need to write down your names in the chat box. So in case if anyone have missed, please write down your names in the chat box for to mark your attendance. Okay. So things are going on that inheritance or the table inheritance. So if a query we are using from the table prepared, so it will find not only the tuples directly inserted into that particular table, but also tuples need to be inserted into a subtable. So suppose we are trying to put some data into a particular table. So the thing is that not only we need to put the data in that particular table, also the data need to be incorporated into in all of the subtables that the main table has. So the for the thing is that, so if we are trying to make a new entry in a particular table, so all of this new entry need to be inherited in all of the sub tables also. So there are many tuples inserted into a subtable. So students and teacher, many type of things is there. So the thing is that SQL prevent this particular thing by only the keyword. So SQL permits only us to find the tuples that are not in the subtables by using only the keyword or only the name of the, so only the keyword can be used to delete or update any type of statement. So we need to very clear about the keyword. So what type of attributes or what type of keywords that we are using. So in case of the attributes or the keywords is not matching, then the thing is that it will not actually the SQL will not allow us to provide or update or delete any type of thing. So for that particular thing, we need to be very careful about the, we need to be very careful to know about what is the attribute or what is the keyword is present there, so that we can do any type of changes into the tables, because it need to be reflected not only the particular table, it also need to be reflected in all of the sub tables also. So the tuples that were inserted in the subtable are not affected, even if that not satisfied where not condition. So as I said that with only with the help of the keywords and with the help of these particular attributes, all the tables as well as the sub tables, each and every sub tables also need to be updated so that the data can be reflected everywhere, and the data retribution process in case of any query, it will be very successfully happen. So for that, today we are going to stop our class to this particular topic. From the next class, we are going to discuss again. So this is a new subject. We can say that object-oriented database system. It is not particularly. It is actually a part of the database management system. So as in your Kolhan University, it is actually break up into a different type of subjects. So uh, for that scenario, we and Biashna have both decided we are going to take the classes. Okay. So in case of any doubts while studying this particular thing, because some part will be discussed by Biash ma'am. Maybe I am discussing something that before that particular topic, there is something that will be discussed by Biash ma'am. So I don't know if Biash ma'am have taken your class or not. So if I think there are some problems will be there, but I hope in the end of the particular subject, all the things will be very much clear to all of you. Okay. So I think also that you people have marked your attendance in the chat box because I am going to update as per that particular chat box. So in case if anyone has still missed, write down your names in the chat box, and then I am going to end up the session. So we will meet again on Saturday class with web technology. Okay, so thank you all for joining into the session, and keep in stay in your home as there is a lockdown going on. So stay in your home and stay safe. Thank you all for joining in the session. Take care.